Hello? Let's see. Hi, where is everybody? There we go. Okay, and let's see if my webmaster Sami is coming on today. Hey Andrew, hey David, hey Beth, hey Sandra, hey Sheila. So my webmaster Sami is going to join us, hopefully. And let's see. So today we're talking about my my book, how to write a book, or how to write your book. See, I didn't even have to write over there. See if I can move that a bit better. Is that better? Okay, so just in the chat room, how many of you have already thought about writing a book, or started writing a book, or is this something that you're already in progress of doing? So write it in my chat here. Let's see. Oh, so Andrew Aloha. Hi, Andrew. How are you? And Andrew says, I have already written one. Okay, wonderful. So probably interested in how you can, get that marketed and what we can do with that. Hi, David. How are you? So I know David is in process of writing a couple of books, some of them channeled. And hi, Michelle, how are you? Have you been writing anything yet, or what are you up to? Let me see if I can bring in. I'm going to bring in Sami. Hey, Sami.
Hi.
Hi. So this is my webmaster, Sami. And well, we've been working together for many years. And Sami also, he does a lot of my website stuff, but also involved in like the publishing. Can you get your camera on, Sami?
Let's see here. Where would I find it?
Maybe just try the top of your screen, like the button there. I'm gonna actually go see if I can put this. We've got it recording. Shall I do it live on Facebook as well, or we just leave it as a recorded? We can post it later.
Why don't we just, yeah, since we're not able to, I don't know where my camera is.
Okay, well, hopefully you'll sort that out.
Yeah. So, oh my. I'm not a participant, I'm as a,
Maybe I didn't upgrade you. Let me see. Promote to panelist. Okay, there we go. Oh, no, maybe I demoted you. Okay, so I think you just have to turn your camera on. Like mine's a button at the top of my screen.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go. So everybody else here, if you want to come on, let's get your cameras on if anybody's interested in coming on and chatting a little bit. So I wrote this book. I don't know if it's gonna be backwards on here or not. How to write your book in 30 days. So this is about motivating you and about doing the structure more than anything, because I find that most writers just start writing. They start at chapter 1 and keep going, and that's actually really a bad way to do it, because it takes, as I'll explain, it takes like different zones to get into. So you've got your creative writing zone is one kind of flow, and then you've got more the editing, which is a completely different way of using your mind. And so what happens is when you try to do everything at once, you just try to start right from first to beginning to the end, you kind of lose track. So I'm going to get into some of the stuff about how to do your book, how you organize your book. We've got basically do a blueprint before we start, and then how to get into that creative zone, and especially like writer's block. A lot of people get writer's block, or just don't get motivated to start, or just don't know where to start. It becomes so overwhelming. So I want to talk about that. And then Sami, we're going to talk a little bit about actually when you finish your book, uploading it, self-publishing it, uploading it to Amazon.
I do most of let me just post this. I'm going to put the Amazon free link into the chat room
Okay.
for the free book, but I do most of Gail's technical uploading and her social media stuff. I do her websites, and I do most of her publishing from the back end. So if you have any technical questions or you get stuck, let me know in the future, and I'll be with Gail for all of the seminars or webinars that we're going to be doing for the classes.
So today is kind of like an overview on everything. I'm going to try to get through as much as we can, but we're only going to do it for like an hour and a half. So, you know, I'm going to do some live with you guys if you want to come on and chat and see what I can cover. But there's only so much I can cover. So I do actually have a course that we recorded and Sami put up on my website, on my online courses. And so we've got a discount price on that. I think it's only $59 to do the whole course that's up there. But I'm also going to take a small group of people, like maybe 8 or 10 people that want to do a kind of a mentoring course. And so we're going to do the course together live. And that's what we're going to do in October. We're going to do 8 sessions. And so it's going to be me and Sami and perhaps some of my other back-end people that help, and actually, you know, help you to do that. So you'll see after this, if that's something you're interested in doing, I'm only going to take a small group. And so you should, you know, jump on that if you're interested. Okay, so who would like to tell us about, you know, where they're at? Like if you've got an idea for a book, maybe you want to be a speaker or coach, you want to use that book as an idea. Maybe you've already written your book. So who would like to share? So write in the chat if you'd like to come on and share a little bit. Yes, raise your hand to add. How do you raise your hand? Okay, so Maribel, would you like to come on? I'm going to presume because you put that in the chat here. Okay, Maribel, you're coming up. And see if you can get your camera on. Okay, you've got let me see, do I have to do something to help it? There we go. Hi.
Hi.
Do you have your camera, or are you camera shy, or you're not sure?
I can put it on. I don't know if I just did it. Did I just do it?
There you go.
Yeah,
now
there you go.
Okay, so you've got an idea for your book?
Yeah. Basically, my sister was just to give. Should I tell you what the idea is?
Yeah.
Well, my sister was murdered by her husband, and I have custody of my niece and nephew. And I wanted to write it from the point of view of the survivors, and then also I wanted to tie it into. So I thought that maybe if I wrote like a short book, it might be a good way to promote the nonprofit, because it's actually the nonprofit is going to be targeted towards helping survivors of domestic violence and actually their pets, because there's a niche that hasn't been filled, and a lot of these domestic violence shelters will only take women and children, and they will not take pets. And so what ends up happening is I actually know somebody that I've connected with that took 6 months for her to leave her abuser because she knew he would abuse or kill her pets. So she waited until she could get someone to adopt her animals before she would even leave her partner. And so that's a niche that needs to be filled. So I thought I would write a short book And I thought that would also help. It would help to get my sister's story out, but also help to raise awareness of this issue, because most places, like I said, they won't take animals. And so I wanted to have a place where the animals would be able to be sheltered until, like, let's say the woman, or, men get abused too, until they're in a safe situation and they can get their animals back, or, we can place them. I thought that was my idea.
Okay, so I mean, this is a tragic story. It would make a very, very powerful book, and obviously you've got the best, idea to roll this into your nonprofit and to do something good with it. So, when we're talking about books, in my book, I talk about how we do journal books. It sounds like this is going to be more of a journal book, meaning it's kind of a story from start to finish. Have you thought about how you're going to tell the story?
Well, I wasn't sure how I was going to tell it, because, I was going to write, I wanted to tie it into the nonprofit because she was an animal lover. But I wasn't sure exactly how I was going to tie it. I was thinking about, but then I thought, okay, I was going to have it, I thought about doing a children's book. I thought about, but then I thought, maybe that wouldn't be necessarily appropriate either.
Yeah, I think it's a bit too heavy. It has a great message and a very strong message, but I think it's, very dramatic and
exactly.
Yeah, and I think you can concentrate on the people in the situation and add in the animals, as an extra thing, because I think it's going to appeal to, animal lovers, but also people in domestic violence. That's a great example of a story that is really inspiring others, helping others just by reading it. So just by reading your story, they're going to be able to kind of get a lot of wisdom through that, and also feel like they're not alone. So then you're planning on running this nonprofit. Would you be interested in going out and speaking about the book?
I might be open to that. I'm a little shy, but you know what? There's no better time for me to get over my shyness.
Yeah.
At some point, if I want to get the word out,
And people really relate to real stories.
It's for a good cause too.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I talk about in my book a lot about how we structure it. And so even as a journey book, you're going to think of what are the main themes, right? So in my course, I talk about taking index cards or sticky notes and getting about 10 or 15 of these. And then we put these down on a board and rearrange it. So what you want to start thinking about is the main what would be originally chapters. So for each sticky note, you're going to have an idea or a theme. Now yours, you might have a lot more chapters and a lot more story about the actual events when it happened, and less leading up to it and less afterwards. So and you might also think sometimes it's not always good to start at the very beginning of the timeline. So you might lay out all your themes. This is what her marriage was like before. This is how they met. This is what translated. This is the time where this thing happened, which was a really difficult time, and this was kind of a warning sign, and she should have known. And then another chapter about this happened. Once you have those chapters, you might decide to rearrange it. You might decide to do a flashback. So you might start with something that is more dramatic at the beginning, and not just starting at the beginning and everything's wonderful and that's how it So storylines are not always starting from start to finish.
Linear.
Yeah, sometimes they will jump back and forth. Right, so I think the best thing to do is to start thinking about what are the main themes that you would be writing a chapter about. And then what you do is for that, and this is for everybody, so what you do is you think about, okay, well, what is one of the chapters you're going to write about is when times were good with her husband. And so you would write several notes. You'd write a temporary chapter header, and you're always going to change those headers, but you'd write a temporary chapter header, and then just write some notes about what would be in that chapter. And so you're going to end up with about 10 or 15 of these, and then we're going to rearrange them. Okay, well, thank you for sharing. I mean, I think that's a really powerful message, and I think that would really bring a lot of hope to people.
I hope so.
And right now, I think, you know, the timing is also, you know, there's I think people want to know about women's rights and about abuse, and people are waking up to a lot of that. So, you know, to have such a you know, a powerful story like that.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, thank you. Stick around. Anybody else wants to come on? So let's see. So Maribel, I am going to move you off the mic for a second. And anybody else who else would like to come on? Wants to share?
Andrew wants to come on.
Andrew wants to come on. Okay, hold on a second. So Sami, I don't know if you know how to do this quickly. Okay, so Andrew, or if I'm the one only controlling this.
You're the only one.
Oh, Andrew. Okay, let's find Andrew. Okay, so I know Andrew because Andrew has a show, and so I've been on Andrew's show a couple of times. Okay, Andrew, there we go. You coming on? Oh, Beth came on by mistake. Oh, and Andrew. Hi, Beth. I guess we're getting up to you next. So stick around. Andrew, can you turn your camera on?
I can't because I'm not in a position to do that. But I can give you. I can talk.
Okay, fine.
You can hear me, right?
Yeah, we can hear you. Okay, so tell us a little bit about. So you've written your book already. What's it about?
90 Days Ascension Journey. It's basically when I did the book, I did it in story frame. Basically, I wanted to instruct or teach people about enlightenment and how to become enlightened and steps towards that, but also to give people understanding of what it takes to be enlightened to begin with. So I did what I did. It was I told stories on the steps that I took in my foundations of different practices and different boundaries of how to get there. So that's kind of how I did my book. But there's another one I want to write about, but go ahead.
Is each chapter like a different story? Like each chapter's a story in itself? Or does it kind of go linear?
I basically what I did was I took the foundation of what it takes of the understanding of the steps that you need to take to become enlightened, and then I took the practices and put those in as part of the content, table of content, and then I put in my stories. I filled it with my stories in between as part of that process. So so far everybody that's read it likes it. They think it's really an easy read, so because they can follow along pretty easy. So it's like the Native Americans when they teach people, they do it in story format. So it makes it really easy for people to read.
Okay, so where are you at with it? Did you try getting a publisher? Did you try self-publishing?
No, I self-published it through CreateSpace, and which has now been bought out by Amazon, I believe. And I've published a number of books. I've had a number of books produced, and I've sold most all of those already, or given some of them away. And then the other thing I've done is I put it on my website as in form of PDF format, so that people can just go in there and read it for free. because I'm not interested in becoming rich off of it. I'm just interested in my goal is to have 1 million people read it.
I like that goal because I believe that, you know, you can make money on books for sure, but it's not, I don't think it's really as important as using that as your launch pad for what you're going to do. So I totally agree. Doing
Keep freezing
free
up.
promotions, having it on your site in a PDF. Sami, I have books inside my inner circle membership. I have books on PDF, right? You put them up there.
Yes, you do. Yes, we do.
And so, you know, encouraging people to read them, even if they're reading them for free, because they get to know you, and then they're interested in buying a course with you, or they're interested in going on a trip with you, or they're interested in doing, you know, something, you know, a lot more exciting than buying a book and, you know, basically making $1 or $2 on a book. So, so I love that. And any tips on, you want to talk a little bit about, Sami, you want to talk a little bit about marketing? I mean, we do the free promotion. Like this book today is, Sami set this free today on Amazon. So this is free for 5 days. And when we do that, it gains a lot of publicity, but also, you know, I talk in my course about how you're part of that Kindle Direct Publishing group, and so people are also reading your book, and every time people read your book on Kindle and they're part of that group, you're actually getting paid. So I think we make just as much money of people reading it, right, Sami, on the Kindle. I think we make as much money as people actually buying the book.
Right.
So I think that free program is really great to get the publicity.
Yeah.
So now there's a couple of things. First of all, the book that I put together that again you can get free on my website. I've offered it in PDF format. Yeah, I formatted in the form of storytelling, just telling stories, and again people find it easy to read. And then the next book that I'm looking to write, I've started it, but I haven't had a huge inspiration to finish writing yet. But another friend of mine, she did a number of radio interviews, and so I'm putting together the book from just those interviews. And it was I started, like I said, I started it, but I still have to finish it. When I'll finish it, I don't know. It'll be a different story.
I don't think you stop at one book, you know.
Right.
I started, I've now got about 20. So I think it's great to have other ideas and, you know, keep having a fresh book. Okay, Andrew, I'm going to let you go so we can hear from Beth. Beth, are you around? Okay, thank you, Andrew.
There's an Andrew Mondia that I think that wanted to come on. So
okay.
I think that. Okay, thanks.
Thanks, Andrew.
Okay, Beth, where's Beth? Our picture's there, but Beth, can you hear us?
Are you there, Beth?
I see her. There we go. Let's see. Oh, no, she's gone. Oh, there she goes. Beth, can you hear us? Is she writing in the chat? I don't know. It doesn't seem to be connecting. Okay. So, so the other Andrew wanted to come on. Who else wanted to come, you said? The other Andrew, you want to come on? There you go. Hey, Andrew.
There you go.
Hi, Andrew. How are you?
Great to see you.
Hi, Andrew.
So have you started a book? Are you in the midst of writing?
I've started one and I have another one. We saw each other at the Green Living Show in Toronto.
Oh, okay, great. Yeah, I remember your face, but I didn't know where. So what kind of books have you written?
Well, thing is, I've already like two journals I contributed to, which have been published, and right now I'm working on a book called Surviving Wanting to Die, and that's sort of like I started to write it and it's been on hold because of life. And I just have another idea for another book, which just percolated this month, which is to do with self-love. So self-love in 30. So each day I'll have a topic. It's because I was inspired by my friend Brenda Edelman. I was actually going to suggest to Marybelle, she might want to connect with my friend Brenda Edelman because her story was quite similar. Her father shot her mother and married her aunt, and she wrote a one-woman show about that. And so their stories are almost similar in nature. So, but anyways, with regards to me, sorry, I just.
So what do you want to ultimately do, Andrew, with your books? Are you interested in being a speaker or going out on a book tour and having a business in any way, or non-profit, or is it just for fun?
My Surviving Wanting to Die, it's about suicide. It's about, like, you know, because there's people, because I once tried to commit suicide, and you know, it's about living, and it's just to bring awareness to help people, and it's something that's part of who I am and what my brand is, and self-love is a part of that as well, and it's a way for me to get like, you know, to get out there and to share something, a piece of myself, and I do want to like, speaking is one of my things that I want to get into. I'm an actor. That's what I've been pursuing, acting. And I love that jade that I got from you, and I want to look for another one because I lost it in Atlanta. So, but yeah, so it's for me. It's writing.
You sound a bit like me. You sound like when you are being creative, you kind of get in that zone, and then you're excited about doing it, and then you kind of like put it away and like lose interest, right? As opposed to like scheduling yourself and saying, okay, I'm going to write every day. Like I'll like to do the creative writing when I'm in the mood, and
Yeah.
when I'm not in the mood, it's hard for me to get in the mood. So I have to kind of go with that flow.
Yeah.
So there are some techniques to kind of help you. And one of the things to get in that creative flow is to create that space. And I don't know if this would work for you, but to find a place where you've got your own space you're working in, you've got your comfy couch, you've got your coffee, you know, whatever it is. Maybe you've meditated before you start, but you kind of have this like ritual that you do that gets you into the zone and gets you kind of like on that flow. And also, when you're procrastinating and you're not really sure how to start, what you need to do is just write very fast, even if you think, oh well, this is complete rubbish, and you may throw away some of your writing when you do that, but you need to just kind of get down and just start writing, almost like automatic writing, and then don't stop, don't go back, don't check it, don't look at it, just keep write and until it starts flowing, and later you can look at it and say, oh no, the first two paragraphs were complete rubbish, or now I can change it around. But I think you're like me, you need to, sometimes you've got to get yourself in that mode to do it.
Yeah.
So I would have a little practice at doing that, so that you're not putting it and procrastinating. But yeah,
I did download your Kindle book this evening when I saw the email. I'm like, oh, did it.
Yeah, good. All right, well, I'm not going to let you go because there's some other people want to come on and share a little bit.
Thank you. And my internet connection is not strong too, but great to see you.
Like you too. Okay.
Jeff has been in the chat. He's next.
Who is next?
Jeff.
Let's see if
he only goes by Jeff.
Okay.
No,
how about Beth?
I don't know if
Beth
you're able to. You might have to make Sandra a co-host.
Beth hasn't been here.
Help with the controls.
Beth's picture's still there.
I checked with. Beth hasn't answered my text.
Okay. All right. So let's see find Jeff.
Yeah, I'm gonna leave and come back in so that way you don't have to undo the thing, okay?
Okay, sounds good.
There you are.
Hey, Jeff.
Hi,
Can you
Jeff.
turn your camera on for us, Jeff?
Yeah. Okay, here we go.
Hey,
Hey, how's it going, Gail and
good,
Sam?
good, and
I
you?
was on a call with you guys a while ago, and that was
Yeah, I remember you. Okay, so have you actually started writing a book yet?
I remember.
Did you start writing
So,
something yet?
yeah. So, the scenario is that like you were talking about writing all the time, just constantly writing. That's kind of doing, and at this point, I've got just a ream of notes. I was writing almost every day, like writing ideas or to expand on, but a lot of times writing, it was kind of like self-coaching, but answering my own questions kind of thing. But I've got a lot of stuff to share from what I learned from my dad, wisdom teachings from my dad, and a long-term study of A Course in Miracles. And I've got it down to a kind of a system for people that are not aware of this material non-duality work and self-inquiry work. So like a system that they could go
It sounds like
where they need to start.
sometimes not every book is a journey book. We've been talking about some journey books, but you want to make yours have a little bit more structure. So I think people like the self-help books. They like a lot of bullet points and quotes and things in boxes and things spread out and more graphic-y, right? Because sometimes when you get like long blocks of copy, they get a bit confused. So it sounds like, if you could maybe at the end of each chapter summarize for them or put some bullet points of what they should have learned, what that chapter meant, just to make it a little bit clear.
Right.
So have your story, have all that information, but then find a way of like maybe putting a block of copy at the end, just a summary of what the chapter was, or bullet points, or making something a little bit bolder, just so that they can kind of feel like, okay, I know what I was supposed to learn from that chapter.
That's
right?
wonderful. And I want to leave them with like exercises that they could practice through their day-to-day life, maybe journal about. But I
like that. And the other thing that sells very, very well is if you do like a workshop book. So if you give them an exercise, actually leave some blank spaces where they can write in their book. Because if they write in your book, they're more committed to that book. It's more special to them. They're not as likely to like throw it away or give it away if they've got their own notes in it. So if you can do that and encourage them to actually write in that book, I think that would be good.
Nice. Okay. So the question was, okay, well, first of all, I want to say that I really liked your message about making a routine, because what I find now is that while I can write on Evernote, on my mobile phone while I'm laying down, just, whenever an idea comes around, but actually sitting down and organizing and editing, there's like 350 notes in Evernote just for, this kind of book topic. But my question really is, okay, I know I need to organize things, and I know I need to structure everything, and but I'm almost at the point of like creating a course at this point. Like, I've got an idea of what kind of course to create that people might be interested in. But the question is, what should I focus on? Like, what's the sequence of events? Do I build a list and focus on that for a little while? Do I build out a lead magnet and a course? What
I would do is I'd write the book first. And once you have written the book, you'll find that the course is almost done. if you write the book like a workbook with exercises at the end, it's very easy then to take that and to make that into a course. I mean, you've almost completely done your course by the time you've done a workbook, but you need a little bit more structure on the book itself. So do what I was talking about, where you take your sticky notes or your index cards and write, you know, your thoughts on, or you said you were using a program, right?
Evernote.
Yeah. Evernotes, yeah. Okay. So try to organize that into, you know, no more than 20, 15 if you can, sets of ideas. So you can start to form chapters, because you're a little bit like spread out. It sounds like you've got like hundreds of Evernotes or sticky notes, right? So you need to hone it down into the top 15 or 20 with an exercise. And once you've done that and you write the book, that's going to be your course. So you'll have each chapter done, and when you've done that, whether you want to record it, you know, put it on. So Sami, you can talk a little bit about this Teachables course. You do a lot of my Teachables courses, right? So putting together a course from a book. Once you finish the book, you can do a video section on each of these chapters with a little exercise, and whether you are telling them what to do and telling them what to write down or think about, or leading them through a meditation. Yeah, Sami, we like Teachables, right? You like that?
Yeah, Teachables breaks it down into small excerpts from videos. You need like 20-minute videos for each section that explains a little bit of what the book is about and follows through with the exercise. And then you have a manuscript that they follow. That's part of the book. It's actually a chapter of the book that you can upload for them. And I can help you with all the technicalities of that. Teachables is very,
like you pay like a monthly fee, and then they collect the money for you and everything, right?
Yeah, they pay you on a student by student basis as the student applies, and they're very good about that.
Yeah, I've been looking into Teachable and Thinkific, you know, comparing those two and some others. So, you know, I think
there are many tools out there, Jeff, that can be confusing. There's Mind Map. There are so many tools that an author or someone can use. You could get very confused, and so it would be good for you to stay focused on what the end result will be, and what you want to boil those chapters down to. Because you're only going to need 15 chapters. No one's going to read 20 chapters.
No, I do have an outline, like a pretty solid outline on, you know, either if I go the route of the book or the course. The outline is solid. It's just a matter of bringing all these note ideas and saying, okay, this was about X, and this was about Y, and this is about Z, and just organizing all these thoughts, you know, is where I'm at. But I was interested in finding out, you know, do I need to build a list before doing all this work, or, you know, do I just complete the course first and then build a list?
No, I think what's going to happen is you should take Gail's course, and we'll walk you through that. By the end of that course, you'll have your book written.
Yeah. And then Sami can help you with the technical. I know we went through all kinds of stuff. I don't, you know, I try to just give that to Sami, and but he researched all these different platforms, and that was, you know, a tremendous amount of effort looking through that, and then he found the one that we really like. And so now, you know, I do the videos, I send them to him, and then he puts them up into the course and produces it as a course.
That's very cool. So your course bring together elements, and then, you know, if I want to put it out as a book, great, but I could also put it out as a course.
Yeah, absolutely. I think and for everybody on here, if your book leans itself to a course, or if you want to be a speaker or a coach, or, you know, if you think that your book is some kind of a how-to or exercise book, definitely put it into a video course if you can. And you know, some books you might have to be a bit more creative as to what kind of a course it would be. But you know, like the workbook is dead easy. I mean, basically each chapter is going to be a section in your course.
Yeah, I get it. And I saw you do that with your, I think it was, oh, what was it? It was
I've done
one
it
of
with
your
a few books. I've done it with the well, I did it with my this book, how to write a book. Basically, I took each chapter and then did the video about it. But I've also done it on some of my other books too.
Yeah, I remember being in one of those classes where I have the book and then I saw you reading and putting out the, exercises. So that worked out really nicely.
So if you go to my site, gailthackray.com, and you go to online courses, you'll see this course. And then you'll also see some other books that I've turned into courses. And you'll see a picture of the book. And the course is basically me going through whatever that book is. And so when you see my online courses, that is, it's been fed off of Teachable. So that's how we're doing it.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. Thank you.
And then so on this one, I think the cost normally was like $300, and then we discounted it to $59 as a special. And people do like, to get a special deal.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Okay, so let's see who else wants to come on.
Michael and David.
Okay, David Irvine wants to come on.
Yeah, Michael wanted to come on after Jeff.
Okay, so we're going to do David first.
Yeah, he's available now.
Hey, David, how are you? And David, can you see us? And then I'm going to say goodbye.
There. Can you hear me now?
Yes, can hear you. You got a video you can put on for us?
I don't think so.
Like a little, maybe on the top of your screen, there's a little button. No?
Yeah.
Okay, so David, you've been channeling some books, right? Can you hear us? I think you muted yourself.
There. Now, okay, now can you hear me?
Now I can hear you. So you've been channeling books. So, channeling books like spirits give you information and you write it down, right?
Yeah, so the last book I'm working on that I'm almost finished now with is How to Move into Higher. And it's all handwritten because I write 6 or 8 pages a day. So what I'm going to do is use Dragon dictation to transcribe everything.
Yeah, that's a good idea. So, when I first started writing, some of the programs they had for voice did not really work very well. Now Dragon's really good, but Google Voice is pretty good and it's free. And so what David's talking about is, he's handwritten a bunch of his writing. So now he's going to read it into the computer and it will actually come out, and most of it comes out pretty good. I think it learns your accent, right, David?
Yeah, I believe it does. I haven't started using. I've been practicing, but I haven't started using it yet.
Yeah, so if you're going to do that, you need to kind of practice a little bit before you do it and get used to it, and how it works. So one of the things I recommend when writing is that you do your creative writing. Now, David's talking about channeling. So when you're really doing creative writing, David's taking it to a whole other level, right? So when you get in that zone in your creative writing, you're kind of like in your own little world. You're kind of in your space and you're just writing. And I say speed write as fast as you can. And don't worry about your typos and don't worry about going back. So don't keep going back and checking it, but just keep writing because that's going to get you in the flow. And David's even taken that step more because he's going into other realms and channeling the book. So once you when you write that, as you're doing that, you may think, I want to come back to this spot, and I might want to do some editing there. So I put some keywords in there. Now, so that if I search those keywords, and I think I recommend in my book a certain combination of letters you wouldn't normally put together. And so when I search those, they all pop up, and those are kind of like my flags. So if you're handwritten, you could put a little flag on it, but that's how I do it if it's typed. But if you're speaking it, you're going to have to come up with a word that's not in your book. And every time you speak that word, that's like a marker for you, so that you know you have to go back and fix that later. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's a good idea, because sometimes when I'm channeling, I'll get some personal information which isn't a part of the book. So yeah, I do need to tag that some way so that it's not included in the book.
Yeah. And so I do recommend just doing that and flowing, and then later going back when you've done each chapter, like you do a chapter, read a chapter or type a chapter, and then once you've done that, then afterwards go back and then edit it and look at it. But don't stop yourself in the middle of it. And that's, I think, one of the biggest mistakes is people start at the beginning of the book, they try to go to the end of the book, and they're also like catching themselves all the time. So they start writing, and after a couple of sentences, they kind of go back and edit it. Well, the creative writing is kind of very right brain, and you need to be kind of in that space. And the editing, you're thinking much more with your left side of your brain. And so if you keep switching back and forth, you're not going to be as creative.
There. Go ahead.
Okay, so now, so you have not really, yours is a bit different. So normally I recommend you write down your chapters, you write down what you're going to write about, and you write your subject. But yours comes to you, or do you have an idea before you start what's this chapter going to be about?
I have no idea from day to day. I just start the next day.
Okay.
And I assume that they're organizing it.
Okay. And so is it going to go linear, or are you going to at the end decide, well, I might move this story up here, I might move that around?
That I haven't decided. I think I'll have to ask the spirits how they want to organize it.
Okay. And then you're going to do any left brain in between, like, tweaking it, maybe doing a summary at the end of each chapter, or some of David's thoughts?
Right now, I haven't planned on doing that at all.
I think
Just
that might be nice.
Pure channeled.
Because if it's pure channel, you might want to just at the end of each channeling session put like some thoughts on, how to explain that a little bit if something's not going to be clear, or what David's thoughts are on that sequence that just came in.
Yeah, you did give me the idea that maybe I should outline kind of bullet points for each chapter.
Yeah.
And summarize it. Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so the ultimate goal with this book is what? To go out and speak about it.
Yeah, I think I will. Starting with Body, Mind, Spirit. And actually organize workshops from the material.
Yeah, and this, I talk about this a lot, that when you write a book, it takes you from being knowledgeable about something. So if you're a speaker about spirituality, you're knowledgeable about it. But if you've got a book and you've got something written and you're a published author, I mean, just like, 100 times your credibility. I mean, people are all of a sudden, oh, that person's an expert because they've got a book. And really, it's not that difficult to write a book, but it's like so important. And it also, if people like your event, they like, what they heard, they want, it's like, oh, I want to buy a copy of that. I want to take a piece home. I want to remember what that person said. And so they really, they're really incentivized, to buy a book. So I think I think, you know, having your own book is a great way of, you know, starting out as a speaker or coach or, you know, a business.
Okay. So do you think I should self-publish it?
Yes. Well, I mean, the old days, you would do a sample writing, you would do a sample chapter, you would do an outline of the entire book. So you would draft kind of an outline of all the different chapters, the theme of the book, and you do a sample writing, which would usually be a chapter or half a chapter. And then you would submit it to an agent who would submit it to a publisher, or perhaps a publisher direct, but usually to an agent. And then if you were lucky and they liked it, then they'd give you some kind of advance, they'd make a commitment, and they'd say, you know, go away and write that, and then they'd give you, you know, I want so many chapters every few months, right? But it's just with self-publishing right now, I mean, it's just the market has completely changed, and people don't want to give you a publishing deal unless you got a lot of, unless you really got not only a story, but unless you got marketing. So when I went, I had a book that a lot of the publishers liked, but then they were like, well, how many followers do you have? And I mean, they're not looking for, you know, 100,000 followers. They're looking like, you know, do you have 1 million followers? So unless you got a lot of followers, or you're like, oh, well, I have these publicists and I'm going to pay this, you know, and then it's like, well, why am I paying you to do this? Because I could do it myself. So, I mean, you know, you're a doctor, so you could have a pretty good shot at getting a publisher to publish it, because it's different. You're a doctor and you're going out into something spiritual. You're talking about channeling and spiritual, and you're an MD. So, you know, you could be somebody that they'd be really interested in, because it's a very unique story. But a lot of people have a very hard time getting a good publisher. And there are some smaller publishers, but I mean, to me, if you get a Simon & Schuster or a HarperCollins, and they can get you into the bookshops, you know, I mean, that's huge. But some of these smaller publishers, honestly, you know, they're going to take a percentage, and they're not really going to do that much for you. And you're going to have to buy your own books. And so, you know, some of these publishers that wanted to do a deal with me, it's like, well, you have to buy your books from them. So let's say HarperCollins gives you a deal, and then you go out as a speaker. You're going to have to go buy your books from them when you go to an event and you sign books. You have to buy them from them. And you have to buy them not at the print cost, but at the wholesale cost. So let's say it costs $3 or $4 to actually print the book. They're not going to give you that rate. They're going to charge you a wholesale price, which is probably $7 or $8. So you're going to have to buy your books for double the price. If you're with a HarperCollins and they're going to get you 1 million book sales, you don't really care if you spend some extra. But if you've got a smaller publisher, you got to look at the dollar and cents, because you might end up spending more money to buy your own books, and they're not really doing that much for you. So my feeling is, if you have a shot at a big publisher, which you may have, because, you know, your story is very unique and who you are is very unique. So I think if you try, you know, one of these big publishers, but if you get one of these medium publishers, you'd have to look and see what the deal was, because I'm not sure that it would be that great.
Okay.
I remember a friend of mine had gotten with a, I'm not going to say who it is, I know it's Lamon, but it was a very well-known book, and it was a pretty good book publisher, and he got a book out with him, and nothing was really happening. And he said, well, why can't I get on a TV show? You know, I mean, if I could do an interview or something. And the publisher said, yeah, there's no way that anybody would ever would ever do a TV interview. And we were in the same town speaking, and I had hired a separate publicist by myself. And I happened to be on the screen on the TV show. And he looked at me and he said, that's my friend Gail Thackray, and how come she got on a TV show? And so when I got back and I saw the publisher, he's like, hey, do you want to make a deal on your book? And I'm like, no, I don't think so. So sometimes you can do better on your own and getting the publicity than these book publishers, unless they're huge, because you know, Eben Alexander had a similar story to you, and you know, he made a huge deal with Simon and Schuster, and so you have that, you know, that same opportunity. So it's worth a try. But it used to be that they wanted a writing sample and they wanted just an outline. I think pretty much now they want the entire book, and they want to know, you know, what kind of publicity you have behind it. And also, my attorney told me when I was looking at doing a deal with some of the big publishers and also with the TV stations, he said, get yourself out there and get yourself known as a speaker. Because if you go with a book publisher and you've not got any exposure, you haven't done any speaking or anything yet, they're actually going to want a big percentage of your speaking. So if you go out there and you get the track record of, well, I'm already a speaker, then they're just going to make a deal with you on the book. So any other questions? Are we going to take, we're going to be taking you, you're going to come through the course, I think you said, right? You're going to come through the 8 weeks. So
Yeah, sure.
actually, you're gonna buckle down and actually get everything finished in these 30 days, right?
Well, that would be a different book, probably.
Yeah. So you have to choose a book, and we'll get it start to finish in 30 days.
Okay.
And then you'll have to decide if you want to try to take that to publishers, or if you want to. We can show you how to launch that and self-publish it if you want to just do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
And just, you know, we talked about this a little bit before, but so David is a mainstream MD doctor, and you know, he's very unusual because he channels spirits. But I think that your first book should not be too woo-woo, too out there, because I think the fact that you are an MD, there's so many people, and I think you have to kind of ease people into it. You want people to see you as this respectable MD that, oh, he's got ideas on the other side, he's got ideas on spirits and angels, and not go too way out there.
Right.
You can kind of rope them in a little bit.
Yeah. That.
Okay, thank you, David.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks,
So
guys.
hang out there.
Hi,
Who
Sammy.
else
Nice to see you again.
who else wants to come in?
Michael.
Okay, Michael.
Michael, let's see what his last name is. Let's see here.
I don't see him in there.
Michael,
Oh, there we go.
D-E-D-O-M. Oh, Dom.
Hey,
There.
oh, no, did I get the wrong one? Okay, maybe I got the wrong one.
Michael, I don't know how you pronounce it. Dimitrovich.
Okay, and this, I guess we're doing Mirabella next. Okay, Michael. Are you coming in, Michael?
There he is.
So Michael, can you turn your camera?
Yes, I can.
Hello. Hey, how are you?
Hi, so good. It's so good to see you. I'm so glad to be here. Thank you for doing this.
Yes, and I've met you a bunch of times, different places.
So many times, so long ago. You were one of my first teachers. So thank you. It's so nice to
You
connect
did
with you.
Reiki with me, right?
I did.
Yeah.
I did. I most definitely did. Changed my entire life. And so all of these years later, I've learned so much just from listening already. I'm working on a journey book. I wrote a book with my partner a while ago, so I have an agent who's interested in it, but it's been actually a really long road. I decided to write this book after my father passed away. And it's basically the company that I have now and the work that I do, doing readings and healings and teaching classes and stuff. It's called Edible Spirit. And I grew up in the restaurant business. So the long story short of this book is that I'm writing about how the unlikely story of growing up in the restaurant business led to working as a spiritual healer and kind of led to this path. And it's taken a really long time. I started working on the book in 2017, maybe before then. And I have an outline that's pretty much stayed the same since really 2018. And I know what I want it to be about. It's about a pilgrimage that I took to Mount Athos in Greece, like a spiritual journey. And then I'm telling the story through flashbacks. And they're to flashbacks of different foods and meals that I've had in my life. So I'm trying to write a really very kind of like accessible, you know, food-based things, and Edible Spirit is, you know, kind of my brand. So what I'm talking about here, what I wanted to ask you was just if you can say anything about, you know, the balance of like, I think it's a journey story for sure. It's all about a pilgrimage, but I want to use this to set up a platform for two things. One, to make people want to do readings with me and take classes with me. Because I still try to keep everything really accessible and grounded, like food, you know, not wool out there, but like down here. But then the other part of it is like, I kind of would, you know, I would love to also, it's a food-based book, so I want to also kind of set it up for, you know, to just increase my authority in the culinary market. And I like this idea of it being like a spiritual and food book at the same time. But what's hard for me is that it took me a really long time to own that I actually have a story that I want to tell because of my own self-esteem. I was like, who am I to tell people my life story? And then I started writing the story and I was like, this is insane. Like I should totally tell this whole story. But I struggle sometimes with the balance of how to tell a story that's also kind of a marketing tool. You know, and
I think you don't worry about the marketing tool because you tell your story and you do that with emotion and you put yourself really in there, you put your heart in it. People are drawn in and they're interested in you. They want to come and see you. Okay. And so I don't think if you start thinking about, well, how am I going to market it and how is this? It kind of takes you out of that story. And it's the authenticity and it's the story that they love. And when you start doing talks, you should open with a short story to draw people in. I mean, that's really powerful when you get up on stage and you tell a story. And then after you've told the story, then you can show them like how to apply in their life or how we can do this exercise or this workshop to bring that in. But I think you start by telling this story and this journey, and you tell it just, you know, from the heart and being, you know, really authentic and being in that story. And that is what people relate to. People don't relate to like how you do this, or I should market this or sell that. When you're not selling yourself, when you're just being yourself, people relate to it. And that's why they're going to want to come for a reading. That's why they're going to want to learn from you, is because they resonate with you. So when you're writing these chapters and you've got like, you've got a section, but then it has to do with food. Are you getting a little like confused? I mean, each chapter that you have, and you've got a dish that it goes with, are you like, you're not sure which dish goes with which chapter, or are you clear on that?
No, it's what it is the devices that I'm taking this journey through Mount Athos over the course of 3 days. And then I'm taking flashbacks to meals and dishes that I ate or that I was cooking at a certain time. And it's almost like the flashback to that meal lets me tell the story from that part of my life. So it's going through, and I'm sort of looking at it as each of the chapter, I'm almost imagining myself as a different character because I've lived a lot of these different lives. So I'm trying to bring people into where I was and what I was doing. Example, when I was taking Reiki at your class, at the ranch, I'm talking about everybody, it was a potluck. So everybody brought all of these foods for us to all at the end of the day sit down and eat. So the subject heading, as you were telling the other people in the outline, that's what I have when I took Reiki with you. It's like the subject heading is not woo 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 Reiki. It's literally like crudité and pound cake and this and that. And then I talk about eating those things to kind of anchor all the other stuff that happened in that moment in something that's actually accessible.
So you don't want to be so worried about like the timeline and how you're going to do it. Just take your sticky notes and just like you said, this is a dish and this is the story I'm going to tell that tells that dish. And then a new sticky note. Okay, this is the dish. This is the story. People do like it to be like a formula. So you've got a formula where it's like each chapter is a story and one dish. Rather than like some chapters don't have a dish and some chapters have 3 dishes, right? So people like a formula where each chapter is a story and a dish, and then the next one a story and a dish, you know, and maybe at the end a recipe or a notes or something to tie it back.
And then at the end a recipe. And so that's the thing, is what I was always trying to do is sort of where I kind of talk about if I have a philosophy or the philosophy that I use to inform my practice and my readings and stuff like that, I keep sort of pushing to get to that place so that I can say to people, and this is what I've walked away from it with, and this is what I want you to walk away from it with. Do you think that's too pushy, too markety? You think I should just like forget about that and just try to like tell the story? Or
tell the story. No, and I like at the end that you just say, here are my thoughts about it. Don't worry about it being a marketing or how it's doing. Just, you know, just either a summary of, I like this dish, this is a summary of what I thought about this story, a little something at the end. People like those summaries, or even a recipe, because, you know.
Totally, no. I think what I want to do is have it be, keep it to the dishes, and if I include a recipe at the end, I almost want it to be like an abstract recipe, like a recipe for a good life, or like a recipe for, you know, healing or something like that.
So if you're going to do it the same each chapter. So if you're going to do that, then, you know, one chapter can be recipe for healing, and the next chapter can be recipe for good life or something. But try to keep it uniform, because people like that. And don't worry about how that's going to go into, people will just, if they like you and they like the story, they'll be interested in getting a reading from you, or they'll be interested in learning from you. You don't have to, it doesn't have to exactly match. Right? And you'll write other books too. So maybe another time we'll do a recipe book or something too.
Totally. I like that idea. Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So I hope you're going to come along on this intensive, because that will be really fun. All right. So who else?
It would be super fun. It would be super fun.
So what we're going to do is, it's going to be in October, and you know, we'll set you up with the entire video course, and you're going to get some materials, and then we're going to do a live talk twice a week. So we'll decide, like maybe Monday and Wednesday we'll do these live sessions. So we'll do 8 live sessions, and you can ask me questions, and you'll get the whole video course as well. All right. So who else wants to come in?
Douglas, but she's only going to be able to do it.
Douglas. What was her first name?
Phyllis.
E?
P-H.
Oh, Phyllis.
Phyllis.
Okay. Oh, and I've got somebody else. Okay, Phyllis.
Hi, Phyllis.
Can you turn the camera on or no?
No, she can't, doesn't have one.
Okay.
Hi, Phyllis. She does.
All right.
Oh, there you are.
You guys hear me okay?
Yes, everything's good.
No.
Okay, so tell us, have you started to write a book already, Phyllis? Can you hear us, Phyllis?
Can you hear me, Phyllis?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you. Can you hear us? We can hear you fine. You can't hear us? Maybe the volume on your speaker.
I have no idea what's going on.
Okay, Sammy, text right in the chat that we needed
We
to
can
turn the
hear
speakers
you.
on. Tell her in the chat we can hear her. We maybe turn her speakers
Okay.
on. Let's see if while you're trying to figure that out.
That's weird. Oh, well.
Can you hear us? No, still can't hear us? Okay, Sammy.
No.
Oh, you can hear me?
Yeah, we can.
Yeah, we can hear you.
We can hear you fine.
There we go.
But if you can't hear us,
Hold on just a second here. Speaker.
and then
Okay.
I've also
There
got.
we go.
Sandra.
Got it. I'm not sure
Okay.
how that happened.
Okay, good. All right, so
Gotcha.
Phyllis, have you started writing yet?
I finished it.
Oh, good.
Yay! Show us again. What is it? What's it called?
It's
Okay.
called One Journey to a New Way of Being. And it's a channeled book written with the angels. And it's a book that takes you through a journey. So there's like 78 plates of images in it.
Oh, great.
With angelic text. And it was very strange because I had to first put it out because it's considered like a sacred artifact. So I had to put it out in physical form first. And then I was just guided that I could do it as an ebook as well. So I'm kind of trying to figure that out because I published through BookBaby. So my book is on Amazon and so forth. But I was thinking I would publish the ebook just directly through Amazon.
I think that's easier, right? I mean, Sammy, you want to talk about publishing on Kindle? It's really pretty easy now.
Yeah, it is pretty easy. Are you on Amazon, or have you done KDP?
No, I haven't. I'm registered in there, but I haven't actually.
Well, it's pretty simple, but the primary I did an employee book. It came out terrible when I first did it. But you need to have an editor that prints the editing of the book, make sure that it's done properly. And I'm sure that if you published it already, it's done. Yeah. So you could just go on and do a PDF upload and walk through the steps. You need there are certain steps that I could take you through that would help you through that. So we can do that.
It's very important that you choose keywords and categories. In fact, even in my book, I recommend a certain program. The categories are really, really important because the categories are going to be what's going to help you to be a best-selling author. So if you try to put it in a category that's got a lot of books
ISBN
already.
if you're going to do.
What's that?
If you're going to do a print, you need an ISBN number. You have to buy those.
She did print already.
Okay, yeah.
She did the print.
But I think it's you have to get another one for an ebook. It's not the same one, is it?
You actually you don't need to get one. They for the ebook, Amazon assigns it.
Oh, okay. Perfect.
But you want them linked. So what you want to do is when you upload the Kindle, there'll be a place where you can put in the ISBN for the print book because you want them to link together.
Well, she's going to need an ISBN because she's going to need to republish that print book because, well, maybe not another ISBN, but she's going to have to do a print to link it to what she may want to link it
like
to.
some of my books, I print through Lightning Source, remember? And then the Kindle can be linked up. The only thing is when you've got a different publisher, if you do it through Amazon, you're doing your print through Amazon and your Kindle through Amazon. If you do it through a different one like this other publisher, sometimes, I don't know if Amazon does it on purpose, but sometimes they play kind of funny games where it says it's not available and the link drops off and there's some other issues. So, I mean, right now I'd recommend just doing print through Amazon, but you've already got it.
I know my book is on. Okay, yeah, my book is on Amazon. My challenge was I published at a really weird time because it was right before COVID. So all of my book things got canceled and the book was just sitting there. So I sent out emails and stuff, and I think I've sold maybe 60 books now, but it was all kind of word of mouth and students and, and things like that. So I kind of want to maybe start it over with the publishing thing with the ebook.
With a Kindle, you have a Kindle, you need a Kindle, right?
Yeah, I have it set up. Yeah, I have it.
Oh,
So,
okay.
So I'd like to do the book as a Kindle book.
Oh, good.
So
yeah, I mean, it's 60 book sales. That's actually not bad to start out with. I mean, honestly, people, if you put your book out there, people think you just put it on Amazon and then people are going to buy it. If you just put it up there, nobody buys it. I mean, you have to do the marketing yourself. So,
yeah,
like you said, all your book in persons got cancelled. So now you're going to have to figure out, like, how you get it online, how you get the advertising, the word out online, with maybe some free Facebook angel readings or samples, or we love the Kindle program, Sami, where you can put your book free. Like my book today is free, and that gets it a lot of publicity, and people do end up buying the print book afterwards, or they end up doing something else.
You need a marketing strategy to market the book. So you need a platform like Amazon. You need a Facebook page. You need an Instagram page. You might want to do a Pinterest page of how you wrote the book. There's all sorts of marketing. Google ads would be a nice way to go.
when you say Instagram page, do you mean it? I have a personal Instagram page, but are you talking about an Instagram page just for the book alone?
Just for the book alone, yeah. A book with chapters, little tidbits of chapters being posted of the days. What's
I mean, Sami, you're right. That kind of book would work great on Instagram, because it's almost like a tarot deck. Each one is a visual with an inspirational message, correct? So I mean, you're right. That would work awesome on Instagram.
Yeah. It's interesting. It's written in angelical language. I don't know if you can see Sophia's picture. It's angelic language.
Oh, that's very interesting, because you that's a very nice marketable. That's very marketable. People who don't know, a lot of people don't know angelic writing. So.
And what do you do for a living? Are you a reader? Do you do angelic readings?
Body work, healing work, yeah. And the book actually comes with a free audio book where I'm reading the book. I'm reading each plate in my angelical language, and some of it's singing. So there's a link in the book, and then people can go to my website and get the free audio book.
Well, there's a course, a built-in course there.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, Sami. Yeah.
I do have a quick question though, because I signed up, I think, for your course, but I'm not sure I signed up for the right thing. I went to your website and I signed up for a 30-day thing. Is that?
Yeah. So you signed up for the video course, and if you want to do the intensive, where you get the one-on-one, you get the video course included. So just let me know if you want to do that. Then we'll just charge you we'll charge you the difference. Basically, give you the money back for the video course because it's included.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I think the video course we have on sale for $59, and then the October intensive with the eight weeks or the 8 sessions, that is $399. So we'll take the $59 off that because you've already paid for that.
Okay.
So you'll have to give us your email and we'll make sure we do that.
All right, thank you.
So the other thing you might think about is Audible, if you've already got it recorded. But to do Audible, you have to go on to Kindle first, and then because if you're going to Audible, you can't create an Audible unless your book is published on Kindle.
Well, that would be interesting. Someone said that. I'm like, well, it's like a spiritual voyage. It's like a shamanic voyage type thing.
Yeah.
So you have to be able to see the images. Maybe not, but you have to be able to see the images.
Oh, I see. So then it might not work.
Yeah, but I mean, I could do an entire Audible book just in my angelical language, which could be interesting, but that could be an idea.
Yeah. Okay, well, thank you, darling. And I guess we'll see you in October. But stay around. Okay, anybody else want to come on, Sami?
Not that Not that I know of.
Who are people up here? We've got Sandra Harrison, and Marabella. Are they there? I've got them up here, but
You girls want to come on?
I didn't tell them they were coming on. So.
Oh.
Okay. Who else wants to come on? Oh, Leonard's here. Leonard, do you want to come on? That's Leonard if he wants to come on. Leonard is an editor. Leonard, hi. I'm gonna change these. Disable.
Oh, hey, Gail, can you hear me?
I can, and I think we can see you. But you maybe have to move your screen down. We can see your window. Oh, now you turned it off.
Yeah, my video is not working, but thank you. It's an honor to be here. Don't really have any questions, but I'm really
Okay,
enjoying it.
So Leonard is a, what would you, I mean, would you call yourself a copy editor, a proof editor? You do also indexing, right?
Yeah, I write the indexes at the backs of books and study alternative cancer treatment and alternative medicine.
So Leonard is the ultimate left brainer. So once you've finished your book and you need somebody to, once you finish your book and you need somebody to go through those fine details, this is what Leonard does actually for a living, right? I mean, you do this for big publishers.
Yes, yes.
And you know how you see indexing at the back of the book, you might, you know, if you've got a book and it's got a lot of different references in, at the end of the book, you might have a list of different words and it'll give you the page numbers where that word is included. So that's what we call indexing.
Yes, it works perfect for my super left brain.
So in the course, I talk a lot about how writing a book, you've got the creative side of you, but you also need that other side of you. Or if you're not very good at that, like me, then you send it to somebody like Leonard. So, you know, the creative part of you, you know, this is where you get the procrastination. This is where you get the writer's block. This is where, you know, you need to get in that creative flow, but sometimes you have a hard time. You just feel like you can't, you know, you just don't feel like it, right? And so I've got some tips on trying to get you into that space. That's your creative writing. But once you've done your creative writing, and I recommend you do chapter by chapter, then you're going to go back and you're going to look at what you have written, and then you're going to start to rearrange it and edit it. But that's the initial stage of editing. That's still pretty right brain, left brain, because you're creating as well as technical. Once you've done that, at the end, when you finish the book completely, and I mean, I do it at the very, very end, you can proofread it. But I think it's unless you're really, really technical and really left brain, it's better to send it out, or at least get a second eye from somebody. So Leonard, some people have said that to do proofreading is to do it backwards, so that you don't get caught up in the creativity of the writing. What do you think about that? Can you hear me still?
Yes, that makes a lot of sense, and I find that fascinating. I've never really tried that, so I don't know, but I bet for some people it does work a lot better.
Well, for
because
some
you can
people,
be so blind to things.
Yeah, some people, as you're reading it, you're trying to be technical, but you start getting carried away into what you've written. You start getting carried away into kind of the emotion of it, or reading into the description, and then your eyes kind of gloss over the words that you're supposed to be looking at. So you obviously just stay focused and are able to just, you know, zoom in and catch those typos, right?
Yes, and it is a challenge whenever you get really engaged in the book. It's hard to think, oh, wait a second, I need to check accuracy.
Yeah. So are you interested in coming along and doing some of the creative with us, and doing maybe one of your health books? Are you interested in actually writing your book about cancer treatments?
if I could snap my fingers and do it, it would might be my dream.
Yeah.
I just don't know if I'm up to it right now.
Yeah, it's that getting into that creative zone for you. So
Yeah.
I recommend for you making your little space, finding that like little coziness, and definitely doing a meditation. And I think for you it might take a little bit to get into that creative zone, and also just start speed writing. Just start going, and just stop yourself from stopping and checking and looking at your typos, and just try to spend 10 minutes just writing, and don't allow yourself to go back, which is going to be hard for you.
Oh, right on. Thank you.
Okay, we got any other questions from anyone? I mean, I think we've had about an hour and a half here. What do you think, Sammy? Is anybody else in here?
That's
Any
it.
more? So when we do this course, so like I was saying earlier, if you go to mygailthackray.com to my online courses, I do have the course. It's got the picture of the book up there. It was $300. It's now $59. So that is the video course of this book. So I go through each chapter. I give you some more tips on it, give you some exercises, but it's not live. If you want to do the October one, I'm probably only ever going to do this one time. I can't imagine that I'm going to come back and repeat this again. So, so what we're going to do in October is you will get that course, but then I'm also going to do 8 private sessions where there's only going to be about 8 or 10 clients, and we're going to work together on, what exactly is your book, how we're going to lay it out, what kind of issues you have. And so I'm going to be doing live courses like this, say Monday and Wednesday, and in between you're going to have homework to do. So, we're going to actually get this done in 30 days. So when we go to the next live session, you will have had I will have set you your task of, okay, today you've got to do this, this, and this, you've got to lay this out. And then when you come back to the next live session, hopefully you have done your homework. And if you can do that and commit to the 30 days, we're going to get, your entire book done. So if you have the time to do that and want to commit and want to really get it done. And Sammy, you're going to go through more of the technical stuff, share your screen about uploading, marketing.
At the end of the sessions, because
yeah, when we're doing the 8-week session, we'll probably do 1 or 2 just on the technical aspects of it. Like maybe we'll do one on uploading and going through it and walking you through
and actually publishing it and the steps.
Yeah. So you'll have the opportunity twice a week, if you start doing something and then you're not sure and you've got questions, you'll have the opportunity to say, well, this didn't work, or, ask Sammy. And then once you've finished it and done it, what we want to do is I've got some tips to get you to be a best-selling author. It's actually not even tips. I mean, it just 100% works. There are some little tricks you can do. And it has to do with, the way that you structure the categories and do these promotions. And it's actually pretty easy to become a best-selling author. And that tab of, being able to say I'm a best-selling author is just going to really, I mean, it's a lot to have a published book, but when you say you're a best-selling author, that really makes a huge difference. So we're going to be talking to each person individually, what's your goals ultimately once you've got this book, and then trying to also and I'll help you with some of my contacts that I have for doing speaking and right now online and webinars and things like that as well. So we want to make money out of this. It's a small investment. It's $399 for the month, and hopefully this will launch your career and start getting some real income in, whether it's with a webinar or whether it's going out and speaking when we're allowed to do that. And you will make money on the book, but I think the bigger money is in the business that you're going to do. Any last questions anybody got? Okay, well, I had a wonderful time I hope you learned a lot. And so if you want to just do the video course, you go to the gailthackray.com, go to the online courses. If you want to do the October, hurry up and sign up because it is very, very limited. And if you go to the front of my site, gailthackray.com, I think it's right there on the latest events, right, Sami? I think the link's right there.
That's right. Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Bye. About what's doing in this, so 6 after now.